my phone is available for hire. And you want to hire, let me know. Can I borrow it? Okay, where are you?
Ah,
Yes, Charles.
Bataata, we're enjoying. But you're welcome. You're welcome to this very nice Jessa. I'm not marketing Jessa. But Jessa can give us some money. Anyways, you're welcome, Bataata. We have Mr. Majugo here. He doesn't want to be called the other title. In this session, Mr. Majugo, and we're going to ask a few more things that are really, that I think are very, very pertinent to us. It's a fact that 50%, as of the research that I've been hearing, divorces are happening. 50%. I don't know how true that is in real sense, but there's so many divorces happening. But I don't want to dive into that. I want Mr. Majugo to just greet us. Yes, how have you been?
Been okay, Charles. And how have you been?
Missing out in action. Some particular action, but don't ask more. Tell us about your family. How are they now?
Yeah, our children are young adults. They have grown. The eldest is 29. The one that follows is 27, and the last one is 25 years old. 24 actually, 24 years old. They finished school, so they're into the world of work.
Into the world of work. Okay.
As opposed to the marketplace, but I prefer the world of work. Sometimes it's cliches. Sometimes they just sound good. The truth is that they're in the world of work.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Majugo, you are into counseling. You call it what kind of counseling?
Christian para counseling.
Christian para counseling, yes. What does it entail?
So, there are many counselors, trained psychologists, maybe psychiatrists all there. But for us, why we call it Christian para counseling is one, we don't do the professional counseling. Our counseling is strictly based on the Bible. So we give a biblical view to those situations.
Okay.
Yeah, but I also want to put a disclaimer. There are some clients who come and in our own assessment, sometimes we feel maybe they need an element of medical help.
Medical help.
Yeah, so usually we might refer.
You refer them.
We refer them and say, no, I think you go and see the psychologist, even a psychiatrist, you know. Yeah. So really it's life issues that we deal with people. Yeah.
Real life issues.
Yeah, real life issues. And why we call it actually, it's biblical counseling. Because the Bible, we believe, has so many answers to life's problems. And so we want people to be able to see that God is interested in their very situation and we need to help them. Because the Bible is full of stories. People have lived very good lives, people have lived reckless lives. All the different scenarios that happen in life are right there in the Bible. So we try to bring people to that place where they can pick something from the Bible that applies to them. Some it may be a similar story, or sometimes they are scriptures that will apply to the circumstances we're going through. So that's what we do. We try to use the Bible, try to introduce the Bible, because we believe the Bible is active. The Bible says it's sharper than any double-edged sword, cutting right, dividing the marrow and bones, and discerning your thoughts, somebody's mind.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Majugo, I'm a bit concerned about the way the Bible has been, all religion, all faith has been overrated. I don't know if I'm using the word rightly, overrated. Are there too many churches? Are you sure the Bible is sufficient? I'm a bit skeptical, and probably I'm representing many. And I think that balance needs to come through. You find that there are more churches in Africa than in China. There is more development in China. There is more mental health in China, I would want to say. And here it is. Don't you think you want to bring a bit of light to what you're saying? You're emphasizing the scriptural aspect.
So, I think I've done some pastoral work.
Okay.
I've done some pastoral work. And it so happened that while I was doing it, I still had administrative roles to do. And there was always that situation of maybe very tough and difficult decisions to make. And when you put on the hat of a pastor, and then you put on the hat of administrator, you find that there may be a clash. Okay? But, you know, that experience taught me one thing, that that's why the Bible is more real than we try to make it. Okay? It's a very practical life. I mean, in that Bible, we've had people who are failures, people who are murdered, real life situations that have happened. And they have been dealt with, you know, the law has taken its course, or decisions have been made that affect these people. So, in that role, say for example, when you put on your administrative hat and probably you have taken disciplinary action against somebody, the likely thing, if it was a pastor, without that hat, you'd be able to pray with the person. But then that's when I began to realize that I think it's us who have mistaken the part of spiritual. Okay, everything is spiritual. There's nothing that is practical and spiritual. No, everything for me is spiritual, because I can, if I use another word, the best I think spiritual is truth. Spiritual means truth, because our God is a God of truth. So, take for example, somebody has breached into the human resource policy. He goes to a pastor. He might tell the pastor, please pray for me, I'm in trouble.
Yes.
Maybe it's demons disturbing me and what. But that experience I had of doing the administrative work and again doing the pastoral work over the same people, where I had the opportunity to see what happens on the administrative side and what goes on. So you bring a balance to it by matters of truth. So if somebody comes and tells me, I need to pray for me, I don't know, the devil is against me, my workplace, I would ask you, please tell me, when did you last do an appraisal? What was in that appraisal? Are there some things that were noted about your character? Because the Bible asks us to be people of character, asks us to work hard, because we are doing everything to the glory of God, you know? So you want to ask this person, have you fulfilled your part?
Yes.
And sometimes you find they have not. But now they are trying to appeal to, please pray for me. And by the way, I can't make an effective prayer for you unless I know the truth, what's happening. So for me, everything for me, I see it as spiritual, because it has the elements of truth. There's elements of good character. It has the element of doing things that are pleasing to God. Yeah, so maybe I must confess that the disadvantage you find in most churches is that a number of pastors have only met people. Their place of work is in that congregation when they're sitting on the pulpit and speaking. And yes, they do encounter people one-on-one and two-on-two and all that, but largely their work is you're praying the next sermon. So it's very important that that's how you find probably a pastor who has a pastor, not a pulpit presenter, but one who engages the congregation, knows where they stand, and approaches people with the sense of honesty and truth. Probably that would inform their sermons. because they will now speak to the real life situations where so at church is the time not to be beaten, but it's a time for self-examination, a time to learn, that's why I said if somebody came and you're a pastor and somebody says, I've been sacked, I have problems at home, problems at work, you need to ask what's happening. Is your conduct good? Would you be confident? Supposing I wanted to arbitrate for you as your pastor, would you feel comfortable for me to come and hear also from HR or your supervisor? Not just an understanding of what is your conduct like.
Yes.
Then we can have a better conversation. I bet you many will not go for counseling if you're that kind of pastor.
He doesn't bet. Please continue.
Yeah, but that is true. So maybe many pastors, in their heart to serve and heart to, they don't delve further. They just straight up begin to pray for you. Let's pray that favor will be upon you, your bosses will love you, they will promote you, they will. But who is that character? That doesn't remove the fact that sometimes somebody may find genuine case of hardship at the place of work, maybe disliked because of their integrity, that kind of thing. So it's also there. Some people can just be hated because the people were straight, especially in society that promotes that. Yeah. So you have somebody who, a young man who comes and begs for money, and the thing to do is let's pray that God will open doors. Ask the young man, what skills do you have? What can you do? So that we pray, because God brought it, you will understand it, yes. So that we pray that rather than just pray for you, money, no. Do you have work? Do you have some skills? Have you applied for jobs? Some of these people probably may need a service as simple as working on their CV. That so that it can articulate themselves better, articulate the person better. So that now is what you say. So other people who probably Christian, they tend to be very practical in the way they look at things. The only things that the solution, their practical solution sometimes may not go the way of God, but they have that nudge. You know the story of when Jesus said, the children of this world are more shrewd than the children of the light.
Actually wiser.
But in some versions it says they are more shrewd. Because he is a man, he's about to lose his job, and now I did some background study on it, and I realized that people would, the owner of a land would hire it out to people to work. And the understanding is that the harvest that you get, I'll get a portion of it. But then he comes back and this man, he had probably wasn't keen on recovering money, and this man says, man, I expect my dues. If not, I'm throwing you off. So he didn't say that, and I'm trying to be dramatic. He says, give me time.
Yes.
Sebo, give me 1 week, I'll sort this thing out. The king says, okay. So he goes around, finds Charles, how much do you owe me? Because what used to happen when you take over such a land, you were free to charge how much you want to sell the harvest as long as the owner gets his money. So this guy says, okay, now let me lose what will be my portion. And so what it seemed, he was giving them, discounting their their credit. But actually what he was doing, he was actually foregoing what was his portion, therefore lowering the price what they could pay, and he could pay his. So he was practical. And then Jesus says, what about us, we of the light? Not that we should do that, but Charles, we stand for what is truth. So here is a person, I'm a pastor. I stand on truth. A person comes, I should investigate what he's telling me, if it's right or wrong. So that I don't make a prayer that lacks understanding. So with my principles of what is right, I will listen to you. And where you are failed, I'll tell you, my brother, my sister. The Bible says, you need to be faithful at your work. Okay? You need to do your work as serving the Lord. Okay? So, from what you have told me, I can see that here and here, I think you are not doing it right. But here and here you have a point. So that you give this person balanced counsel. But we don't in the church. We are always saying that demons, spirits, and yet you're actually condoning bad behavior.
Yes, yes.
There are some people who don't even know how to employ balokole. Because the balokole is need to come late in the morning because the first one to attend morning prayers. He will leave before lunchtime and come after lunchtime. Why? Because he's gone for lunch hour prayers. Leave early from work to go and attend some evening prayer. But wants promotion, wants favor, wants pay. Now that's the person who comes to the pastor and says, pray. And the pastor sees you every time. You're very faithful. You come in the morning for prayer, you come for lunchtime for prayer. Sees you in the evening for prayer. So poor man will say, let me pray for this faithful person. But this person, have you as a pastor asked yourself critically, this man or young man is working. How come he is here by midday? What time did he leave his office? 11:30. He's supposed to work until 1.
And then you caution that young man.
I have an interesting story. So when I was doing pastoral work, there was this young man, very devoted, helping us a lot in the children's church or what other people call Sunday school. Very good guy, very committed. So I got to know about his performance in school. As I called him, I said, you know what, I really appreciate what you do, but I just feel like you can't shine there and your grades are doing bad. Give you an example to the kids you're teaching. I told him, you know what, if you don't improve your grades, I'm going to first drop you off. The facilitators first work on your grades. When they are there, you come back. Today he's a pastor. And his grades changed. He even got a first class, upper second at university. And now he's a pastor. But you see, that's it. We've got to be practical. So spirituality doesn't mean lack of practicality. For me, I say it's truth. You have to deal with issues of truth and understanding.
When you're speaking, you're reminding me of Moses. How, and someone just help me understand this better. He said that God gets Moses, gets him into Egypt, the highest university, and then in all of these things is preparing him to come and transform a whole nation of slaves. Slaves that are not informed, they are just, that whole generation has just grown with no education, understanding certain aspects of life that are key. And Moses transformed a slave nation into a super nation. He taught them health, he taught them the rules, he taught them social habits, social manners. He educated them in all aspects of life. I think he even went ahead to tell them what to eat and drink, among others. I think that it comes back not to the pastors, and I thank God for this program, the Bataata thing, is that a present Tata in the life of a child or in the life of that family, he is a present, he's a gift. And that gift, I'm wondering how you can help me to unwrap it. That father or that Tata to be that gift that has a bit of knowledge, has that understanding, he has the encouragement. That Tata, you should be that one. Because that is the example of who our God is. But to go, not to dissuade off this route. When you hear the word present father, have you been present? And if you have been present in those children, tell us how you have been a gift, a present to them.
So my journey is that Julia and I wedded when we were quite young. I was 2 years ahead of her at university, so as soon as she graduated, we wedded. Actually, when she completed university, like she completed in July, and September.
Graduation.
No, September we got married.
Hey, Mr. Majugo.
And then January, when she went for graduation, I escorted her with her family.
As a married
Who
man.
educated her, yes. So that I don't celebrate as if it is my achievement. So I escorted her with the parents.
With that ring.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Mr. Well, learn, friends, learn patience. Please continue.
So what am I driving at? The point is that so we wedded quite early, and what happened was that we found ourselves in a situation where many of our peers waited much later. Okay. At church, we ended up joining the marriage group. They were much older than us. And then our friends also now couldn't relate with us because we were married. Because then we discovered, and we had children, we didn't wait. Okay, the first year we had our first child. So we didn't wait. So that again put us into parenting, and there are things we had to do.
Yes.
When our friends think of guys, let's link up. Me, I'm thinking, guys, I've got to carry some food home for the for the child. So in that way, those circumstances forced me to be present in a way. In a way, and yeah. So literally, without trying to make it so complicated, is that you as a man, what priority do you put into your time to be at home? Remembering that you have your obligation as a father. Okay? So, my father was a very busy man, but I remember the things he did is to pick me from school. Drop me, pick me from school. He never missed, these class days where they say bring your parents.
Yes.
He made sure he came. Unless he was probably out of the country, but he made sure he came. And when he came, he would take his time to look at my work, talk to the teachers. I remember one teacher who was so angry with me and hit me with a stick on the head. I even bled. My dad wasn't there. My mom, no, my dad was there, but my mom wasn't there. So when I get home, my dad asked me what happened. No, the teacher actually wrote a note. I don't remember what he wrote, but he must have written some form of excuse. Maybe it was a mistake or something. So, but my dad wrote him a note and told him, Mr. Seljega, if my child ever does anything wrong, please don't punish him. Wait for me in the evening and report to me. I'll be the one to handle him. So like he was that. The only funny thing is I always imagine if my mom had been around, there was going to be a riot in the school. Oh, I think she'd have blown up. Because when she came back, I know when she came back from my trip, I tell her, of course I was positioned on my statue, and she sees the bandage on the head. And so she says, what happened, Aurora? So I said, the teacher hit me. Oh. She was livid. She turns to my dad. What did you do? Because she expected my dad to say, I did this, and he was working in Ministry of Education, so
oh yes,
he ate at this teacher. I think my dad saw, well, the child may be safer.
Yes.
Yeah, because if this teacher can be that reckless and hit my son like that, why antagonize him? Let's handle him. So just say, please, don't cane my child again. If there's anything, tell me. I'll be there to do it. But the point is, just being available. You as a parent, this is a responsibility you have. Have your children been at school? Do they have what they need? Just because they are your children. They don't belong to anybody. You don't leave the responsibility to your wife. She's taking care of everything, so fathers don't know. You ask my wife. Ask. That's not right. You may not know everything about your son, but just be interested. And you know why? You are teaching your child. Your son is learning from you. That if daddy cared, when he has his home and the wife says, please, Charles, help me, he'll be more adept to help you.
Yeah.
But if he sees the father who says, Yabakazi, let them go and do it. So even him, that's the way he'll treat his wife. And his son also will pick that up, and it will be like. But I like what the Bible says. It says, it talks about teaching the children the word of God. It tells them as you walk, as you sit down, as you lie down. So those words express a certain form of proximity and a keenness of a parent seeing what's happening to their child. So you're watching them as you walk, as you lie down, as you sleep.
Wow. You have not dodged giving me some examples of how you have actually parented me. Maybe I can just push you a little further. The moments when you needed to pull out the rod that you may not spoil the child.
Yeah.
How were those moments? I know your father, you mentioned your father the other day.
Yeah, so I think one of the things as parents we face is probably we're not consistent in our discipline. Okay. Did I ever cane my children? Yes. But I realized there were a few times. And
then you wanted.
Maybe that would have happened, okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Okay.
you see, I think maybe Julia, naturally being a teacher, she tends to want things, directed well, behavior. So that combination helped. So we're able to be consistent. I mean, I learned a few things like Julia used to tell me that, Aurora, when you call any of your children, call them once. If you start saying, Charles, Charles, and you go on until Charles appears. So Charles, when you call the first time, you say, let me wait till he calls the fourth time, then while I finish what I'm doing, and then I go say, no, learn, call once. And they should come. So sometimes it's, so in the same way, if you notice some behavior that is not good, I'm not advocating that caning should be the first thing. Actually, it should be the last. And whatever punishment you give should be comparable to what's wrong.
Yes.
But you see, and sometimes there's the time to speak to a child, and there's the time you pull out the road when it has gone too far. But the point I'm trying to raise is that the case Julia gave me, don't call out more than once. So they learn to respond immediately to the first call. So it therefore happens that when you're consistent with some issues of discipline, then you don't have to take out the severe ones. Get a stick, you get what, get a slipper, belt, because the child already knows. Everything is, I would say it's streamlined, but everything is, there's some orderliness which is created.
So your parenting has been so smooth sailing, handling issues.
I think that because I said because of that consistency, and I don't owe it to myself, it's to Julia, she could be strict. Yeah, so that also helped. But the issue is consistency. Yeah. When you're not consistent, the kids don't know when to take you seriously or not. Any one time they will do something which you bring up with a stick.
Onto the head.
Yeah, but not onto the head, moreover. But if you are consistent in your discipline, then you don't have to get into those confrontations with your children, because you will speak once and they'll respond.
Let's jump to something tougher. I'm just wondering, have you ever reached a point of divorce? Has it ever crossed your mind? Have you ever been pressed so much?
It is said that one question every married man and possibly woman asks themselves at some time in their marriage, did I make the right choice?
There you go. There you go. Yes.
Yeah, and let's face it, okay? Husband and wife, you were not raised in the same home. You were not raised by the same parents. Like it was Bishop Zach one time was preaching and saying, so let no one deceive you that you're just going to melt into each other, forget it. You are different.
Majugo.
No, I'm saying this is where it's coming from.
Yes.
You are two different people, and your marriage is going to be the journey of begin to adjusting and fusing into each other. But there's a way we always deceive ourselves that by the time you get married, you're already fused. No. You have not totally fused. You have, because here you, like for us who are Christians, you meet, go out on a date and you go away. You may have a misunderstanding, you go away. Go away. But the issue is you are different. And it will take time for you to just melt and gel into each other. And that's what makes a marriage. It's a journey of adjusting to each other.
I like the carefulness you answered my question. As you talk about gelling, and I know what gelling is like, are you talking about the level of some bit of conflict as you're gelling?
Yeah, there will be conflict because you're not the same, you're not born. You don't think the same way, you're raised by different parents, you walk different paths of life. So all those differences.
This is public knowledge, so I can comfortably say it. Billy Graham's wife was asked the question, have you ever thought about divorce? I said, no, never. Have you heard that story?
No, tell me.
I've never thought about divorce. The girl was 6 months away from home. She literally raised the children herself.
Yes.
Even the 6 months that was present was literally not there. She was asked that question and said, no, I've never thought about divorce. Then she added, but for murder, I have. What are you saying, Mr. Majugo?
Yes, because you know, Charles, it's simply, you are not raised together. You see? Now, the challenge is that you were not raised together. Okay? You don't come from the same home. You have a number of differences. So the two of you have come together and you want to work out forge out some unity and understanding and cooperation. It takes time. Because now that's when reality hits the road. That's when you get to look at each other. Yes. And you see for who we are. Yeah.
If I should stay or leave.
Yeah. Now what people need to know, it is that being gracious with yourselves, that you don't know each other. You're discovering each other. But if you have this very perfectionism, my wife should be this or my husband should be this, with no room that one man, you need to go out together, you're different. Then you're going to pull and tug at each other, and then you start saying we can't work together. Irreconcilable differences. That said, there are some situations that warrant it, yeah. Because some people, I don't know, they haven't had the ability to confront who they are. This is what we call it in our counseling. Remember I said, relationship with God, relationship with yourself. Because some people have not confronted who they are. They are always the whole problem is always outside, not them. Now, those are the ones probably who qualify for irreconcilable. All things just go back because they don't have that ability to see where I'm wrong and where I need to change. The relationship plan now become very abusive. I don't know if somebody married my daughter and is beating her and all that I would say you stay there. Really?
What would you do?
I think I would urge, I think safety would be something very important for me. I wouldn't say go and divorce. I would give it a chance and say, guys, you need to seek help and ask. And I'll tell the guy, don't touch my daughter.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. I would say that I don't touch my daughter. Don't. Because you came and asked for her. I gave her to you. If you have a problem, come back to me. Let's talk about it. Let's solve it. But don't beat her up.
See one now.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. Forever, she'll be my daughter. I won't control her, but I'll protect her in the best way that I can. She's an independent person, I'll protect her so that I can.
Bataata, there is a lot of information just that statement. In any way he can.
Yeah.
That reminds me, my sister passed on last year, and I seem to have come close to those children, so close, to the point that I had some 2 weeks with them, Bataata. But the level of attachment I got, I don't know if I would not tear a man who touched her wrongly.
Okay.
And by tearing, I mean really tear. So I don't know, that is what.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want you to take me further, because I want you to, from the element, because for a fact, I have met probably every 10 friends, of mine that are married, probably 6, 7 are not happy with their marriages. Some say that my wife grew up without, she wasn't well groomed. Maybe the absence of a father, a father figure, to groom her that this is how it should be, to create some form of boundaries. Some have been raised with a jelly hand, and they have not known what life is. So when they come this side, they think they can demand what they used to demand from the mother did not have that male voice. What do you speak of those ladies? And in view, how can we help the Bataata to identify that there is a missing something in my wife? Let me help her like this.
Okay, they say there's no school of parenting, and there's not one style of parenting, because we're all different. But what I would say is that even as we all admit that society has become more complicated, more rudderless,
And individualized.
individualized, there's a lot of moral decay. It's incumbent upon us as parents to even step up. Because remember, Charles, every child, when you want a child, you don't go to the park and find babies there. You give birth to them, okay? And God designed it that children don't just drop somewhere and say, oh, now I've picked a baby. No, you give birth to a baby. So what that means is that first of all, we should realize that it's incumbent upon us to raise these children. And have that understanding that one day they are going to leave home. So as we raise them, you've got to balance your culture with an understanding of what's out there. Okay? And so right from childhood, because this child is in your hands, probably till in the Ugandan system, if you go through kindergarten up to finish university, maybe a 3-year course, you'll be about 21 years old. So you just mark it in your mind that I'm with this child for 21 years. Let me commit myself so that I produce a good girl, I produce a good man. But it's also important that there are centers already, like churches. One critical thing, because that's where families begin. Marriage begins there. I think churches should now also step up more than ever, preparing parents, how to groom your children. Like I said, there's no one style. There's nothing wrong with the church having maybe a quarterly seminar where you hear from those who have raised children older. But again, the only problem is that our society is investing everybody wants to paint a very good picture. That's not realistic. Have you handled when your child begins to drink? Those are things sometimes parents are afraid about to say because they may reflect on them as wrong. But another family that is honest will say, yeah, kid used to drink and this happened a lot of time. They've changed, they're better people. They went this way, we were into drugs or what have we do. But what's happening increasingly, we are looking for help outside rather than strengthening the family. You know that Ministry of Gender has a document of how children should be raised in a home. It's there. Parenting document. They talk about things, how to punish, how to get a child involved in work, how to listen to them, how to handle. It's interesting, it's there.
Have you read it?
Yes, I've read it.
All of it?
Yes. It's interesting, but you see, but it's like everything else. We're very good at policies, but we shelve them. But that would be a good thing. Okay? So we have to emphasize family. Churches have to emphasize family. Okay? And I think, let me also say this, and I hope my fellow brethren won't be offended. In our good endeavor, for example, as churches, we inadvertently undermine the family. There's a culture in church, the papa, mama, you've heard about it. It sounds innocent, but the person being called papa, mama, feels great, Yeah. And so you know this aspect of a child. So the child gets confused. This papa and mama love me, but my parents at home, how come they are so tough on me? This one loves me, cares for me. It's what I told you. These kids go and share with their papa and mama, not telling their papa and mama how they avoid doing work at home, how they are performing badly and the parents are not happy, They don't say those things. They say, my parents are not helping me, so those are papa and mama. Let's pray that. So I think, now you're taking, now the child is sort of like transferring the allegiance to you, the papa and mama.
In the church.
Like you don't pay fees. When that child is sick, you don't get from your pocket, take them to the hospital. So you're undermining authority, confusing this child, Sometimes the rebellion, maybe in the marriage, comes not even from the family, but from our small cultures of papa and mama, where they did not take the spiritual route of confronting truth. So what should parents do? It's difficult raising children because every child is different. But what I know, if you bring in God into the affair, say, God, you've given me this child. I'm having a child, please give me wisdom. But also, not fall into the stereotypes of, these things are for the wife to do, me as a man, as long as I provide the young that way. Unless I come maybe when I'm going to cane on the serious issues. No. Before you cane, get involved in the training. Moments, fathers, let's go back home. Sit with your children. What are you doing with men in the bar? Okay, go once in a week, okay, and do it.
Are you saying, are you encouraging to go to training?
Because they are going to. So you go, okay? But I hope it's not every day. And actually I hope it is the least number of days. And there are more days you say, I'm going home to be with my children. Go to the gym, go to do what? Have those moments, go back. Sit down with your children. Sit down, because whatever happens to your child, all of us are going to sympathize with you. Whatever happens to your child that is very good, we're going to be happy. But the real joy will be yours. And the real sorrow will be yours. So don't be deceived. Some people say, I'm going to take my child to a school where there's good discipline. That is one child out of 1,000. Don't be deceived. That nobody can give your child individualized attention as you as a parent. So you must. Let me put it in a positive way. Let what we do with our children create memories for them to remember. Sometimes the thing that will stop your child from going deep into the discipline, They may do teenage, they may try to explore, do a bit of drinking, try drugs, smoking. But the thing that sometimes calls them back is the memories you have built with them, that you've talked with them. You know? So sometimes just sit down with them, talk, give them a story, just be present. Because it's in those moments that the kids get confidence and they begin to say, Tata, fire. While other kids are saying, oh, my dad, when he comes, we scatter. But for you, they remember when you come, you sit down, talk with them, play with them. So that child, sometimes the thing that will hold them back will be, I can't do this to my dad. So how can I? Yeah, it's been good to me. Even if they go astray, that thing will be there. But you're not present, then you want to come out when things get worse. And then you come in so hard. Because you want to show there's authority here. And it just either tears you further apart.
Mr. Majugo, when I'm thinking about your authority over those children of yours, and I'm thinking about the Bataata was saying that my wife has not supported me like your Julie has supported you. And when they say that my children are cursed, when everything around the men begins to fade, what is fading? They're living a life that is not dignified. They are losing their sense of gravity, focus, and direction. They are pulled to the point that they are useless. And the only remedy is to be silent. What would you tell them? Please keep in mind he's not working. His children despise him, but he knows better. Life has failed.
Okay, I know probably maybe there are some ladies who are watching, and if you interviewed them, you probably would find that maybe the man also was careless. He was not at home, spending time with friends, drinking away his money. Maybe she told him, why don't we do this? And he's gambled the money away and done all sorts of things. So there's that aspect. So the man is all of a sudden, it's like the prodigal son, things have gone bad. But there's also an aspect where a man has genuinely fallen on hard times. Lost a job, not because of being lazy or what, but it just doesn't work. Like Trump's cutting down any US aid to countries. People lost jobs. I had a friend of mine had got just a job in Senegal as an expatriate. He lost it. So either way, whether it is something of your own making, not of your own making, we come back to the point of marriage. I think with our world, that the way it has become, they used to say long ago that something about asking, right, where you're going to marry, getting to know who you're going to marry.
Yes. Background checks.
Background check and all that, which was a traditional thing. I think, people are not checking, and therefore they make wrong choices. Just make wrong choices, and things go bad, really, really bad. And it comes to a man, he loses his dignity, The point is, how do you make a turnaround? Is there that humility to say, you know what, I made mistakes, or maybe the wife forgives, or alternatively, or the man is repentant for what he is, or misfortune comes, and the man is able to accept things are not going well, and hopefully the wife doesn't condemn him, but is able to understand,
lands on your chest.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking this question, I've been doing a study of fathers, and I didn't know how strong fathers are. There is an aspect that fathers have that I've studied that is unstoppable. It's almost like a God nature in them. That even when the situation is impossible, these people say it shall be possible. When shame, when disease, when failure, when everything has just gripped them and they just cannot have any way out, they still have that kind of resolve, that kind of mind, that kind of attitude that they cannot fail. However much they fail. The reason I'm raising this is that many have resigned from the responsibility of being a father, from being that dad. That the child should know that my father has been stretched and he has been stretched. He's supposed to just split. My father is carrying the weight of an entire empire that has crumbled on him. And it's just in that mix. But he is refusing to let go. He still comes back and hugs me with those tears. When I see the weakness in some Bataata now, and what I know that I've seen those Bataata who have lived and they've just come out, I made up my mind that probably we should find, and the reason why I looked out for you is Bataata, he refused me to tell you certain things. This man is a giant. He has helped impossible things to become possible. He has really tore some burdens of, and it's better if he says it, but he's holding back. Why am I telling you this is that however simple you see this man, he is not simple at all. How many people have you ever employed at once? As at one organizational level?
Maybe 900 plus, about that.
Is that a simple man?
But, okay, Charles.
No, but what I'm getting at, my friends, is that I'm trying to trigger you to realize that he has no moments of, even in the weak moments, he has friends. He has encircled himself with certain caliber of people and a kind of thinking that we cannot. I wouldn't want to let you, Bataata, to accept certain aspects in your life because they have become so heavy. That's why we're having these kind of people. We should have actually conversations whereby you call out very soon. We should actually have those moments. Mr. Majugo, have I done wrong to bring out that aspect that there are certain men who have wore the image of God? No wonder the Bible says that parents are gods on earth. And I want to walk tenderly on that word, that they are gods. Explain that.
I think the simplest way, because that also may scare many people, say, yeah, comparing myself to God. Eh?
Yes.
But I think I would say that I think being a father and mother is such a God-given thing. It's not automatic. There are people who don't have children. There are married but don't have children. Okay, so to have children, and moreover, this is the avenue in which this population of people is created. Eh? It's they want to manufacture in some factory or what. But what I could say is that there is no prayer that is stronger than that of a father. Okay, no prayer is people go for prayer to be be prayed for, and it's okay. But a prayer of a child, I mean a prayer of a parent for their child is more powerful than, I hope I'm not offending my fellow brethren, but it's more powerful than the prayer of a pastor. Because the child was given to the pastor, the child was given to you. So you cannot undermine the prayer. So sometimes when you see these men who stand strong against all what's suffering and what, and they just hang in there, doing the best that they can, suffer all the shame and all that, is I think somewhere in their minds is a certain confidence that this is something special I've given you that helps them pull through. And then the people they have around are people also, like I told you, who believe in God, stand by you. These people all have somebody who stands by them who says, no, Charles, it's prayer. Things are tough, but I have 20,000, please have it. And I also had some, apart from the hard time I shared, I also went through a hard time, and I remember that it was a friend stood by us, you know. Didn't give us money or that, but when they had something, they would support us, you know. So somehow, men who go through those times have somebody, even just be one unknown person who stands by them. So men, that's how we look for genuine friends. Genuine friends, and also be the same somebody else, stand by other people. In the little that you can, give them. Give them, stand by them. That's where it all comes from. You can't, this world is tough, you can't walk it alone. That's why Adam was told, you know what? You're alone. You need a helper.
Not a Julia, but an Eve.
Yes.
You know you're emphasizing Eve.
Because that was what was quoted. So, but yeah, so we need it. And if it's a woman, oh, better still. In terms of, because you're together with a family, because let's face it, friends can help you, but there are some things which they cannot be with you that are emotional, that are whatever. And how good it is if you have a wife who can stand you, who understands you. And maybe, yeah, that's what helps stand. Now, you already alluded to the fact where men have been crushed by their wives, let's put it that way. I'd put it this way, that I had said, first of all, before you get married, it's good to know about this person. Good to know. It's good to know about, understand them, their culture, where they come from, so that you're able to look at this person in the light of not your own culture and your own eyes, but through the culture of the eyes. This is coming from how she was raised or how she was told, you know, worked out. But I think the marriage vows in church where I pray is that one of the very beautiful ones, they say, marriage is something not to be taken too lightly. It's a tough thing. Marriage is tough, I told you. Pilgrim's wife said, wanted to murder him.
Did you say that?
She said
so.
Yeah. Yeah, and every man, did they make a right choice or what? Every woman also said, did they make a right choice? Those things happen. So, it's very important that people get counseling. I think we rush too quickly. Churches also now over when people want to get married, so you come in this big class. They teach you, you go away. Some have where you have couples you meet, but sometimes even these people want to get married, these new couples. For them, their goal is to get married. Sometimes they don't even meet their commitments of the couples they're attached to. And I feel like it is too quick. Marriages happen so quickly, you know.
Marriages or weddings?
Or weddings happen too quickly sometimes, you know. Because everything is in a hurry. You get to Kwanjula, you're now taken up with how the Kwanjula should be. I'm not against how grand you make it. If you have the money, hold it. Let it be the Kwanjula for the year in the whole country. It's okay if you have the money. If you don't have a lot, yeah, do your Kwanjula, which is enough for you. But the point is, Sometimes we look so much at the occasions, and we don't. There's nothing that helps. Churches try to help, but they also start at the point when you're heading towards the marriage day because they have to make announcements for you. But I think we need to go back to that place where we need to teach about relating with people. The example I can give is like, we like giving success cards 1 or 2 weeks in your last term for an exam. And I usually say it's like somebody who's going on a trip. Charles, you're traveling a 100-kilometer trip. And then when you're 10 kilometers, the place I call, hey, Charles, safe journey.
So you don't want to give the success card?
No. If possible, give the success card to the candidate first term as they start and say, no, I'm wishing you success. Then okay, at the end of the time you can pray. But to think that the miracles happen a week to the exam.
And they can.
They can happen. But so, so even us, knowing that children become adults, they have age, they have finished school, whether vocational, technical, university, they are now moving to that age range. And I think I want to say again, parents, remember I said the prayer of a parent is stronger than the prayer of a clergy, of a priest, or a sheikh, because this is a God-given role that he has given you, that child. So we as parents, I think, we need to also break out of that and say, the way society has gone wild. With the age that I know about marriage, let me teach. And if they are grown up, and that's what even bonds you with your children, say, I've made some mistakes in marriage. I regret them, I want you to do that. This child will begin to ask you, hey, Daddy, there's this guy who's after me. Oh, the boy will tell your son will tell you, this girl I like. But you're able to ask because you have the advantage of age. Yeah, I believe that as parents we've handed over too much authority to the school, to the church. So we blame them when they spoil our children. We blame the pastors if they don't teach well. We always finger pointing. These singers of ours did not teach her very well. In the Bible, there's nothing as that, It's parents. The command is teach your children the ways of God. It says teach your children the way they should go, so that when they grow up, they won't depart from it. It doesn't say the pastor should teach your child brothers. No. So I think we need to be awakened to the role of parenting. It's more than provision and discipline. By the way, discipline is teaching. It's not punishing. It's teaching.
It's clear the road. It's discipline. It's not.
It's just a portion of it.
Bataata, there are 2 questions that I had, but I'm trying to hold them back for now. We just want to take a short break and then we shall get back. But thank you for being patient with us. But as we leave off with this conversation, I want to leave you with the 3 things that I'd like summarizing. The 3 things that I'm hearing. No, let him actually tell us those 3 things and then I'll say them.
Which 3 things?
The 3 things that we have just been talking about. One of them is authority that you have. You may not know how to really conjure it and bring it forth. Do some bit of study. Maybe you can summarize it. But it is a must that you must do it. That authority, that hand that you have to bless, you need to use it. Yes, the other.
So the other would be, as men, let's find fellow men.
Yes.
Fellow men who can stand with us in our times of weakness.
Yes.
Let's not be carried away with the talk we usually have men get together and have much of a football match, but not be able to ask the question, how are you? How is home? How's life? Is everything okay? Is work fine? Marriage, that's those real questions to each other.
Where you demand the actual answer.
Yeah, you say, just And also allow the person to ask you and say, man, this week my wife and I have been at Paris.
Yes.
If you ask what happened. But of course, those are questions, like I said, somehow around your circle, you'll find some people who you can trust. Sometimes they might fail you, that's okay, those things happen in life. But largely, I believe you're able to identify somebody you can talk to. And just have this honest talk. That I think, men, let us learn to confront ourselves. Let's not blame everything, my wife, other people and what. No. Sit back and look at yourself and say, there are some things I need to confront about my life. I'm good here and here and here, but of late people are questioning me here and here. Is there something that I'm not hearing, that I'm not seeing about myself? And be able to go and say, Charles, the other day you made a comment about me. I just want honestly to say, where did it come from? Is there something you've seen in me? And I hope Charles will be an honest person who will tell you, what, and you blow your
Don't trumpet.
Or we may tell you, no, man, you're short-tempered. I mean, when we are talking, you never have a chance to accept when you never lose.
Yes, you're always right.
You're always right, you're always right. And just think about that. And then you as a man, self-confrontation, go back and reflect on your conversations. And then you're there, with humility of heart, you will say, I realize I defend myself too much. So it has to be that way. So confront yourself, have very good friends, and always remember, God has not given you that place as a husband, as a father, and left you there to struggle with. You are a steward of those children. He sees you as the best dad for them, and he is willing to help you to raise very good children.
Yes.
Yeah. They will fail, yes, but again, he sees in you the hand that will pick them up and say, son, let's work. You can do better, let's go. Not condemning, and it's not just saying, why? You all have weaknesses, but let's get up and work.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. But as we close off, remember we started off from fathers, Bataata. Be present so that you are a present. A gift that a child will unwrap and find that he has found peace, he has found counsel in you as a father. He has found strength in you as a father. He has found prayer that you bless him or her. That you will continue to say that, oh, my father is this other gift of finance, this other gift of protection. I like the way you say that. He will protect the way he knows. So fathers, just consider yourself as a gift of God to your children. Okay? Okay? Okay. Good. Thank you very much. God bless you very much. Mr. Majugo, you're the best.
Oh,
you are the
thank
best.
You.
Can you say thank you?
No, you should thank the people who have helped me get where I am. Another session?
Yes, I'll say.